Good afternoon. Here I am, day 77, 76, 77. Why is it I can remember when I'm downstairs, but I come upstairs and I forget? In any event, today I'm wearing my gambling shirt. It came from the Golden Nugget. I'm hoping what I can impart today are some nuggets or seeds of thought. And it's based on what happened last night and yesterday, in general. First of all, I want to tell you, we do the National Calendar Day every day. Well, I want to tell you what day it is not, so you know where I'm coming from. And I read this morning that it said it is National Black Lives Matter Blackout Day, which means try to stay off social media. Yet when I looked up National Blackout Day, it came up that it's July 7th. So on July 7th, I will do my best to go blackout, which will be like probably chewing my fingernails down to my palms of my hands. But so just so you know, I'm aware of Blackout Day, but my research indicated that is not until July 7th. What it is Rocky Road Day. That sounds so good. I don't have the ice cream, but I do have the nuts, and I do have the chocolate, and I do have some veggie marshmallows, so maybe that's an option. It's also, wake up, notify your boss, it is Leave the Office Early Day. Well, that'll be a cool thing. I sure could go back. I gotta go home and clean my house. I'm leaving early. Okay, so now we come to about last night and yesterday and today. Today is a very sad day for me. Today is the day that I lost my granddaughter that I raised. She passed away, and a week later, my great-grandson was moved to Florida. So I had like two parts of a very central part of my everyday life removed from my everyday life. And I am very blessed to be able to visit with Tristan and what I call my Florida family down in Florida. Well, I can't right now, not for a while, and you better believe I'm praying that this virus gets lost so I can go back there. But so in any event, today is always a very sad day for me. And it does make me think about what really matters in life. And so that's where I'm coming from. So today may be a little long, and I'm going to do the best I can to move along as quickly as I can. But I've got a lot to say. And it has to do with a post that I made yesterday. Yes, same one I talked about in yesterday's message. Well, by the end of the day, I feel like folks had done their best to hand me my butt all day and evening in not agreeing with what I said. And that made it very, very stressful for me because one of the things that we talk about is the feeling of not being heard. And the feeling I had very much yesterday was I was not being heard. We never knew when we started this journey together 70 some odd days ago that it would wind up where it is today. And there was a part of me last night, I did not go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning. And last night I was very tempted to just say, I'm just not going to do it today. But I made an agreement that I'm going to be with you for the extent of our confinement, and I would share every part of my journey, even the ones that stink. So, yes, yesterday was very sad and very stressful, and I felt very misunderstood. And first of all, I'd like to share my mission statement. My mission statement is to know, love, and serve God as I inspire others to do likewise. And my ministry statement is to learn, live, and share the universal principles of truth, to touch hearts and change lives as taught by Jesus Christ. So my mission is about learning and living and loving, and I have done my best to do that for over 30 years. I believe, as a part of my path, and I believe that others, it's a part of their path, we are about conscious evolution. Conscious evolution means being very aware, to consciously make the choices to elevate, to evolve our consciousness. And it's not easy, and sometimes it's not pretty. And sometimes other people don't get where we're coming from. And I know I try to be a good communicator, but I will be the first to say there's times when I probably fall down on that job. So the post I made yesterday, called people to say that I didn't get it, about what is going on. And I could not, no matter what I said to anyone, they would say, no, you don't get it. That I didn't get it because I had a different thought about the way to come out of it. I couldn't figure out why, when I agreed with other people, I was told, as I told you in yesterday's message, I was told I need to think like a black person. I have to stop thinking like a white person. And I said, as much as I have compassion and empathy, not sympathy, empathy for the condition, no, I was not. I wasn't there, and I have a hard time to understand why someone else can tell me that I'm wrong because I wasn't there. I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that although I agreed with the brother of George Floyd, Terrence Floyd, I agreed with everything he said. He was saying the same things I was saying. And Reverend Al Sharpton, President Obama, Lori Lightfoot, Laura Bottoms, and Mayor Cuomo. I was in alignment with everything they were saying, and somehow I could not express that in a way that I felt heard. And there seemed to be a thought, a concept, a belief that I didn't understand what other people went through, and that I didn't think it was justified or what. And the thing is, I totally believe, I am absolutely in agreement with the justification for the protests. I did not agree with the solution, the current solutions as they were playing out. I'm all for the demonstrations. I'm all for being heard. I'm all for staying tall until something is done. But what I wasn't in agreement was the way that the process is unfolding metaphysically as I see, and I felt very blown off by folks who would say, well, I am not up, this is too big, I am not going to be metaphysically translating this. At the same point, the metaphysical principles are working whether we are paying attention to them or interpreting them or doing anything else. Martin Luther got called out for his 99 principles, which he nailed to the church wall, and people wanted him to take them down in disagreement. And he said, so help me God, I cannot. And I say to you, so help me God, I cannot deny what I believe to be positive, important information. So yes, I can't understand. I can't fully embody what it is like. Although I can have empathy and sympathy, I cannot embody what it is like to be black and raised in that community. But I can understand it. I can understand it. And on that note, I'd like to share with you a little bit of my black history. I was born in Connecticut, raised in Connecticut. We had very few black children, families around us. However, the ones that we knew were friends with. My mother and father had a friendship with a lady in town who was a travel agent. My first crush was a little boy in school named Butchie Peanut. He happened to be black, and I had a wicked crush on him. I thought he was just the cutest thing I ever saw. And I was in kindergarten, and we were not taught negative things about black people, but that means we were also not taught about the pain and suffering. We did not see them. And I'm sorry if you are disagreeing with me and hating me for what I'm saying, but I have to speak my truth. We cannot blame someone for not knowing something. We can blame someone for knowing something and not acknowledging it or not facing it or dealing with it. But how would you blame your child if they went to a 6th grade class instead of their kindergarten class and they did not know the answers? They did not know them. They were never exposed to them. So I'm just putting that out there. So my first crush was Butchie Peanut, and a very close friend of mine in school's name was Joanne Pena. She was, and I was like 13, 14 years old. It was the first time I ever had a friend of color. They weren't there, okay? There were very few people at that time, but Joanne and I were very good friends, and we didn't see each other. We never talked about it even. Then one day when I was a teenager, I read the book Black Like Me, and I so was amazed by it. And I don't know how people of color think about Black Like Me, but to me it was very powerful, and it showed what a hard time people had, and it changed me. We had family in Florida, and when we would go to Florida, I did not understand the difference between why some bathrooms were for colored people, which is what they said, and some bathrooms and drinking faucets and stuff were just for white. It made no sense to me. I didn't get it, and at that time, it was from the time I was a small child to being a teenager, when I was going and learning these things. I did not vote for the very first time until I was 30 years old. I trusted the government was fine. Voting was not, I think my parents voted, but it was not a big issue in my household. We did not discuss politics. Never. I don't ever remember a political discussion in my house growing up. So I didn't know anything about it. So I was 30 years old when I cast my first vote. And I voted for Jesse Jackson. I voted for Jesse Jackson because I was very moved by his push for excellence. Going down the road farther, I was engaged for a period of time to a black man. Eventually, we broke up. The reason had nothing to do with color. It had to do with the fact that he was significantly younger than I was. And I don't know how the people that have those big age differences do it, because, and for him and he and I, there was never a question of race. Okay, I had for several months a black roommate, and I lived in California, and I experienced discrimination by association sometimes when I would be with her, and I was very upset by it. I took her out for her 21st birthday. We went to celebrate at the Red Onion in Redlands, California. We were given we had to wait and wait and wait for a seat. We saw people that had come in after us go in first, and we sat there at the bar and had a drink and waited. It was her first legal drink. And then we were shown to a table, and the table we were shown at must have had children sitting at it previously, because there was all crumbs and junk all over the floor. The service was bad, and when we were done with our meal, they did not ask us, did we want coffee, did we want dessert? And it was her birthday. And so that was just one of the experience that I had with that. I was very moved as a child when I was an adult then, when I saw the television series Roots, and deeply, deeply horrified by the things that went on. When I was in seminary, my church of choice was Unity Southeast, which was a Unity version of a Black Baptist church. I loved it. I love that rock and music. There's nothing like Black gospel music. I own a copy of the AME hymnal, and I don't play anything, and I don't do church anymore, so I've got nothing to use the book for, but I love it because the songs in there are very powerful and meaningful to me. And even if I just open the book and read it, you know. My congregation in the church I served in Virginia was 1/3 people of color. And it was great. We got along together. We rocked, and I'm still friends with a lot of them now. And that was almost 25 years ago. I voted for Barack Obama twice. And my presidential choice for this year would have been Cory Booker. I love that man. Yeah, if you don't love Cory Booker, read the book United, because it is one of the most powerful things I've ever read. My understanding of multicolor living, some of my favorite movies are The Help, Hidden Figures, The Green Book. One of my heroes is Rosa Parks. I am not, I am as understanding of this situation as I can be, and I'm trying to, I know I'm running on, but to me it's really important. And my perspective that what is happening with the riots is metaphysically self-defeating and will not get a long-term response. That's how I see it. That's how I believe it. And I don't expect everyone will agree with me. But I really don't want people to just blow it off saying, you don't understand. I might not understand because I'm not in that skin. But I do. Believe me, I do understand the situation. The viewpoint I have that there are ways that protesting is fine, and there are ways and things that have to be done to move the movement forward more, excuse me, that does not invalidate anyone else's experience. It's different than theirs, but it doesn't invalidate it. The goal is that we all come out of it better. I feel that when some people just blow me off and say, you don't get it, even though I am grounded in what I say and have very valid reasons for saying it that are filled with love and compassion, and when somebody says, you just don't get it, yeah, that to me invalidates my beliefs, my absolute core of being, that we are all one, all equal. So yeah, I had an issue with that, and it really kept me, I did not go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning. It kept me awake, it kept me upset. This morning when I woke up, I had an image come to me. And the image was of generals or, big shots standing and looking over um, over a board with like, like military maps like that. They were strategists. And what I would like to offer as a thought, think on it. You don't have to agree with me, just think on it. I would like to offer as a thought that someone that is not that deeply immersed in it, maybe, just maybe, they can see something from a different perspective and to say maybe there's a better way to do this. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, and I don't consider myself some spiritual guru. I consider myself a dedicated, consecrated person of service to God and all God's children. But if someone thought there was a better way, wouldn't it be wise to even just consider that possibility? And again, since I'm in alignment with what these other great black leaders have said, why am I the one that doesn't get it? That it really hurts my heart. What we need in this is illumination. We need enlightenment because there is a battle going on. This is several times I've said it. There is a battle going on, and the battle that is going on is it may look racial right this minute. It may look like gender bias another minute. It may look like sexual orientation yet another minute. But the whole thing comes down to enlightenment versus ignorance. We need to, if you don't think, if you have friends that think differently, you can offer them your thoughts. You can't shove them down their throat. You can't change them, but you can offer them. We've had this discussion before. But we're not going to enlighten each other by yelling at them or by calling them names or by telling them they don't get it. I ask that we learn to be open to each other and to give each other a chance to lift up our consciousness. This problem that we're having right now needs to be turned into a project. And the project is how can we help other people to know and understand what's going on? That's number one. Number two, there has to be a plan. And maybe there's ways to get people that are ignorant. There is nothing wrong with being ignorant. Each one of us is ignorant of something, okay? So there's ignorance and there's ignorance. So ignorance is wrong. It's knowing and ignoring it. Ignorance, there's nothing wrong with it. All it needs is enlightenment, is knowledge. You're only going to get knowledge across by communicating in a healthy way. One of my main concerns and the reason that I made the post about not protesting lawlessness with lawlessness is because we don't want to play into the hand of the opposition. We don't want to reinforce stereotypes. They are there. They are there. We don't want to reinforce them by associating with behaviors that reinforce them. I hope you can try to hear that. And if I offend you, I do apologize. Enlightenment requires information. Information exchange requires communication. The big problem is there be an issue, it'll come to a head, it'll be fading out. It'll come to a head, it'll be fading out. We can't stop when it fades out, but that's for everybody. We can't blame others for not knowing. One of the things we have to do, which I feel is really important right now, is we have to think like the opposition. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We cannot play into the hand of violence, of racism, of white supremacy. We can't do that. We have to overcome it. And Kumo said it great when he quoted the Bible, You can't drive out, hate with hate. You got to drive out hate with love. To love someone doesn't mean to like them or to even approve of them. It means to try to find, somehow we have to find common ground. I want success in this. Song came to my mind, and I meant to print out the words, the lyrics, but I just didn't have time. I am at work. I'll be leaving early, but I am at work. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on YouTube. I'm going to find the song, and I'm going to link it underneath today's message. And that song is The Morning After. I am waiting for the morning after. I am waiting for the dust to settle so the work can begin. All I ask of you is that you try to understand in your heart where I'm coming from as I work to understand more of where you're coming from. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, whether you agree with me or not, I want you to know that I behold the divinity in you. May your day be blessed, and may we find the peace that passes understanding. God bless you.